These days, more and more heart surgeons are sounding an alarm that surprises a lot of people. Walking alone may not actually protect your heart the way we once thought. In fact, in some cases, walking is not just overrated, it can even be risky. That might sound shocking, especially since walking has always been the gold standard recommendation for older adults. But if you're over 65, and you've ever struggled with joint pain, fatigue, dizziness, or limited mobility, this could be a real eye-opener for you. And I want you to lean in, because what I'm about to share could literally change the way you move, the way you feel, and the way you protect your heart from today forward. There are 5 safe and simple alternatives that most people have never even heard of. They don't require fancy equipment, they don't require you to go outside in the heat or the cold, and you can do them all without leaving your living room. These movements aren't just easy, they're deeply effective. They can boost circulation, strengthen your heart, reduce swelling, and flood you with energy. And the best part? They're safe, low impact, and designed for people who thought walking was their only option. Now, if you've ever noticed symptoms like poor circulation, numb feet, swollen legs, or that drained feeling that comes after sitting for too long, you are far from alone. Millions of older adults are silently struggling with the same thing, believing that walking is their only solution. Even when walking hurts, even when it causes joint pain, or even when it leaves them feeling weaker. But here's the truth. It's not your only option. And one of the 5 simple exercises I'm about to show you might be exactly what your heart has been waiting for. Before we dive in, let me say this. If you care about protecting your heart, keeping your independence, and staying mobile well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, then make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. Every week I share science-backed, natural, practical strategies that help women like you take control of their health in a safe, simple way. So hit that subscribe button, because I don't want you to miss the next tip that could transform the way you feel tomorrow. Alright, let's get into it. The first alternative to walking is something called the chair-based foot pump. Now, don't let the name fool you. This is one of the simplest, yet most powerful exercises you can do for your heart. Here's why. When you walk, one of the biggest reasons it helps your heart is because of your calf muscles. The calves are often called the second heart, because they literally pump blood back up from your legs toward your heart. But if walking is painful or unsafe for you, you can mimic that exact pumping action from the comfort of your chair. Here's how to do it. Sit up tall in your chair with both feet flat on the floor. First, lift your heels while keeping your toes on the ground. Hold it for a moment, then lower. Next, lift your toes while keeping your heels pressed into the ground. Go back and forth, almost like you're tapping your feet, but with more control. You can do this while you read, while you watch TV, or even while you wait at the doctor's office. And let me share a story with you. Harold, a 78-year-old from Ohio, told me that he used to feel dizzy whenever he tried to walk around his neighborhood. He thought he was doomed to sit all day and lose more and more of his strength. But then he started doing these simple foot pumps for just 5 minutes at a time, a few times a day. Within a couple of weeks, he noticed that the swelling in his ankles was almost gone. His legs felt warmer instead of icy cold, and he had enough energy to stand and cook his own meals again. What Harold discovered is that it's not about the distance you walk. It's about the consistency of keeping your blood flowing. And chair-based foot pumps are one of the best ways to do exactly that. Now let's move on to the second alternative, wall push-ups. Now, before you panic and think, push-ups? No way. Let me reassure you. These are not the push-ups you remember from gym class. Wall push-ups are a gentle, safe, and incredibly effective way to strengthen your upper body and support your heart. Here's why they matter. When you push against the wall, you're activating muscles in your chest, your arms, and your core. This not only improves circulation in your upper body, but it also strengthens the muscles around your rib cage and lungs, which helps you breathe better. Stronger breathing muscles mean more oxygen getting to your heart, your brain, and your cells. Here's how you do it. Stand about 2 feet away from a sturdy wall. Place your hands at shoulder height. Slowly bend your elbows and lean your chest toward the wall. Then gently press yourself back. Start with just 5 repetitions, and build up as you feel stronger. Let me tell you about Eleanor, an 82-year-old from Idaho. She had lost a lot of strength after a hip surgery and was afraid to exercise again. She started with just 5 wall push-ups a day, and at first, she doubted it would make any difference. But after 3 weeks, she was up to 15 repetitions, her posture improved, and her breathing became easier. The best part? She told me she felt more confident walking into her church again, because she wasn't hunched over and struggling for breath. Sometimes, strength after 70 doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from small, consistent actions like this. Now, the third alternative to walking is one of my favorites. Seated leg lifts. This is a simple move, but don't underestimate it. When you lift your legs while seated, you activate your quadriceps, glutes, and calves, all of which help blood return to your heart. And when your circulation improves, your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Over time, this can even lower your resting heart rate and improve your endurance. To do this exercise, sit tall in your chair and slowly lift one foot a few inches off the floor. Hold it for a couple of seconds, then lower it. Switch to the other leg. Repeat this back and forth while you're watching TV or chatting with a friend. Walter, a 79-year-old from Iowa, told me he started doing these during the commercial breaks of his favorite shows. At first, he thought it was silly. But within a month, he noticed that he could get up from his recliner without that heavy, sluggish feeling. He said, "I finally feel like I have control over my body again." That sense of control, of being in charge of your own strength, is powerful, and it's something every woman and man deserves to feel, no matter their age. The fourth alternative is something very few people talk about, but it's one of the easiest ways to protect your heart. It's called hand squeezes. Now you might wonder, how can squeezing something with my hands possibly help my heart? Here's the science. Studies show that improving grip strength is directly linked to better vascular health and lower blood pressure. It's almost like training your blood vessels from the inside out. Here's how to do it. Grab a soft stress ball, a tennis ball, or even a small pillow. Sit comfortably and squeeze the object. Hold for a second, then release. Do this several times with each hand. Ruth, an 80-year-old from South Carolina, carries a small yellow ball in her purse everywhere she goes. She does hand squeezes while sitting in the car, while waiting at the pharmacy, or even while talking on the phone. Within a couple of months, she reported feeling more energy and noticing that her blood pressure was more stable at her doctor visits. Her doctor even commented on how much steadier her heart rate looked. Sometimes the smallest movements can deliver the biggest results. Finally, let's talk about the fifth alternative. Seated straight leg holds. This is a slightly more challenging move, but it delivers powerful results, especially if you're worried about circulation, swelling, or blood clots. Here's how to do it. Sit tall in your chair. Extend one leg straight out in front of you and hold it for a few seconds. Then lower it slowly and switch legs. This strengthens your quadriceps, improves oxygen delivery, and helps keep blood moving in your lower body. Frank, a 78-year-old from Arizona, had a stroke a few years back and believed he would never regain his strength. At first, he thought these seated holds were useless, but he gave them a chance. After a couple of months of daily practice, he was able to climb a flight of stairs without feeling exhausted. For him, that meant independence, freedom, and dignity. So what's the message here? It's not about doing more, it's about doing what works. Walking can be great, but it's not the only way, and it's certainly not the best way for everyone. Your heart doesn't need miles. It needs circulation, it needs strength, and it needs consistency. These 5 alternatives, foot pumps, wall push-ups, seated leg lifts, hand squeezes, and straight leg holds, are tools you can use every single day, without pain, without risk, and without leaving your home. And I want you to remember this. You are not powerless. No matter your age, no matter your current condition, there are always simple, natural steps you can take to protect your heart, boost your energy, and reclaim your independence. Now, if this video gave you even one idea you can use today, do yourself a favor. Subscribe to this channel right now. Because every week I bring you natural, science-backed strategies to help you feel stronger, more energetic, and more in control of your health. You don't want to miss what's coming next. And speaking of what's next, in our upcoming video I'm going to share something critical. The worst foods for arthritis. If you, or someone you love, has ever struggled with stiff, aching joints, you need to know this. Because the very foods you think are healthy could actually be fueling your pain. Don't miss it. It could be the key to feeling freer and more mobile than you have in years. So keep moving, keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next video.